Welcome to the Next Level Podcast, Episode 3. I'm your host, Mike Schramer, and with me is my co-host, John White. How are you today, John?
Pretty good.
We got some pretty cool things to cover today for the fans of the podcast, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go over some of the Week 11 recap of what has happened over this last week with some exciting games, some players injured, some
A lot of players injured,
yeah.
But it seems like every week in the NFL it's like that, but
something new.
Yep.
Someone getting hurt all the time. And then if we got some time, we're going to go ahead and cover some of the next level men's flag football team that we got.
Ooh.
And the wild
I'm still
season.
sore from that.
Yep. our first week playing in that. So
Yeah.
Our first year, not week, sorry. I'm caught up.
It was our first
11.
tournament, so
Yeah.
we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we'll cover that later for those of you that want to listen. It's pretty exciting and fun. But how about that juicy news that just came out today by the Patch in Chicago? You've got Scott Anderson saying that the Bears are going to fire Matt Nagy after Thanksgiving.
Man, well,
and it says brought to you by sources, but
that's how the news works these days. Everybody just says by sources. I mean, that being said, I think the writing's on the wall, right? I mean, after that loss, I feel like you can't come back from that. He's had too many second chances. I think obviously the Bulls-Pacers game last night, the entire crowd was chanting "Fire Nagy."
Fire Nagy.
Yeah.
There was a high school game that
with his son.
Yep.
Which is I that's tasteless, but
that's Chicago. Yeah. They're ruthless.
Well, yeah, they are ruthless. It's a hard town. But I don't know. My only thing with this is I feel obviously in the internet age, you can throw anything out there. I mean, this guy does seem to be a credible
and not
journalist.
be held liable for it.
But
look at the whole Aaron Rodgers thing.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I feel like his termination is pending. It is a short week. But at the same time, let's say they beat the Lions in convincing fashion and they look good. I mean, how do you fire a coach the day after a win?
Yeah, but it is the Lions, and they are, 0-9-1?
Yeah, but still an NFL team. I mean,
they should be a college team at this rate.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, they tied the Steelers, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then they gave
the Steelers.
They gave the Browns
big boy, Big Ben.
I know. But anyways, I don't know. Here's the thing. Now that these rumors are swirling, let's say they did plan to do this. Now that it's out, now it's almost like you got to find.
Yeah, now
before.
you have
you
to.
Got to do it today.
Even if you weren't gonna.
Yeah, you got to do it today.
Or extend them, right, to prove everyone wrong. That's really how you feel.
But
let's be honest. Yeah,
it's the end of the line.
I thought Nagy and Pace should have already been let go before this year even kicked off. But I think because. I think if this does happen, Nagy gets fired, Pace will be followed after the year. So they already got all their scouting done for most of the year.
Well, that's the thing, though. If Pace is the one doing the firing, I mean, he's
doing it to save his job, probably.
He's got to, right?
Because it goes the coach first, then you.
I bet it'll be interesting how this thing all shakes out. I mean, obviously, too, we don't even know how imminent this is. The way the news cycle works, we could wake up tomorrow, Bears come out and say we're sticking with Nagy, and then this thing dies away. But I don't know. So we'll see how that develops. But enough of that. Let's get into the games.
Yeah. So you've got Thursday night's game, which was an exciting blowout for the New England Patriots versus the Atlanta
Pats are
Falcons.
back, baby.
They are. So it's funny because after that Sunday game previously, they were interviewing Mac Jones, asking about some details on the game that they just had. And he said, you know what? My focus is already on Thursday's game. So
it's a Patriot way, man.
Yep, he's already learning.
Yep.
So I think he's the real deal. He's looking good. He had 207 passing yards, not too bad.
Well, yeah, I think he did play well. He had one touchdown, no turnovers, right?
Yep.
And
Game
that
manager.
Patriots defense, man, they are stifling. I mean, that's the thing, too. The Patriots have won a lot of Super Bowls, and I think they've always been considered an offensive team because of Brady. But Belichick is a defensive wizard.
Yeah.
And I think they've won – defense wins championships, hands down, right? And I think the Pats are back. They look so good. Even, too, one thing I noticed in that game was how intelligent all the Patriots defenders are. Like, they'll pick up I think it was maybe a false start or something like that by the Falcons. Or no, actually it was a legal formation. Every single Patriots defensive player was freaking out because they knew it was illegal. Think about how well studied you'd have to be for all 11 defensive players to know that's an illegal play.
Yep.
And that's just a Bill Belichick trained team. So It'd be interesting.
They're well disciplined.
Yeah, they are.
And I mean, they might be a team to watch.
I think so. They've won. I think it's 5 straight. Yep.
They're first in their division, I think.
No. Well. Oh yeah, that's right. Now with the Bills loss. Yeah. They should be a half game up, right?
The Bills.
Yeah.
All right, so
maybe let's talk about that game.
Well, let's go on to the next game, which was the Washington football team against the Carolina Panthers. Washington came out with the W, 27-21. Your boy that you say is like the next Brett Favre,
Taylor Heineke, baby. Well, so here's why. All right, before the show, I said Taylor Heineke's the next Brett Favre, and here's why I said it. First of all, he's number 4. And he's got that same, I would say, a young Brett Favre. He's not by any means an elite quarterback, but he makes some really stellar plays, and he certainly did on Sunday. And he gets hit hard.
The team rallied around him.
Oh, yeah. He's just tough. He's gritty. He's got that mentality. And he makes some, really, like, there's some throws just like with Favre.
Yep.
You kind of you're like, oh, you don't know where it's going to go. And he can make some kind of questionable decisions, but he's just a grinder, and they pulled it out. And
when you got Scary Terry down there.
He did look good too.
He can make some plays for you.
Yep.
Him and Gibson went off, and then Ron Rivera, I think, was trying to make a statement.
I think you have to.
Chase
right?
Young's gone.
You go well. So you first.
Cam Newton's back.
Well, Cam Newton's back. So really interesting storylines of that game because I think it's Rivera's first game back in Carolina, the team that fired him. It's against his MVP winning quarterback that he had taken.
That literally just got brought back to himself.
Just came back, right? Scored 2 quick touchdowns against the Cardinals. They look good. And I know in our pool that you took. Would you take second in the pick'em pool that we do?
Well, it was only because of the points of Monday night's game.
You almost won it again.
I got 4 of them wrong.
Okay.
4 games wrong.
So I had quite a few wrong, but one of the games
Mine was Panthers.
Yeah,
so if you got the Washington,
I picked Washington for a multitude of reasons. I thought, who's going to know Cam Newton better than Ron Rivera?
Yep.
Right, and how to stop him. But I think people
Cam played his butt off, man.
He played pretty good. I wouldn't say
so Cam Newton was 21 for 27, 78% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown with like 40 something yards rushing.
He played good.
But
if you looked at on that last drive, they were down by 6, and he couldn't put a drive together. And we'll see about Cam Newton. I think it's great that he's back in Carolina.
He's got to get comfortable again.
Well, I think Sam Darnold is a better quarterback today.
He's younger.
Yeah, he's younger, and I think to me.
So what happens? Like the Panthers need to decide after this season what route they're going to go. Are they going to still try to stick with Cam Newton, who isn't he only like 31 still?
No, I think he's a little older than that.
Is he a little older? Yeah,
because he would have been. I think he would have came out of college. I think when you and I were graduating high school, which would have been 2010. So he's probably 33, 34.
32.
32. Okay, so he's still pretty young. But
so he was born 1989.
But he definitely is not going to. Although run the ball, he still looked as good as ever. So it remains to be seen. But I will say, if you watching that last drive, you could just tell that he wasn't going to take him down to score.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that he didn't play well on Sunday. He did. He played well enough.
He looks like he could throw the ball now.
Yeah, no, he
didn't look like that with the Patriots.
No, but
maybe
I don't know. In that last drive, though, I think it's one of those. In my opinion, if Sam Darnold's there, I think you really feel like you have a chance. With Cam Newton, you can't run that read option much when you're doing a 2-minute drill. You got to just sling it down the field. And
did you see what Cam Newton walked out in? Or walked out the song? It was "I'm Coming Home."
Oh, really?
That was a good song.
No, I do. I think it's
a
cool storyline. I'm glad that he's back. I certainly like the Cam Newton and Christian McCaffrey combo. I think they're great together. But also too, let's see what I think the Panthers are 5-6 now. They're still in the hunt for the playoffs, the NFC.
I mean, if Cam makes it to the playoffs for you, do you get rid of him?
Well, no, I think it'll be interesting too. I think Sam Darnold may come back from injury this year yet. I can't remember how serious his injury was. Was it a shoulder?
Not even sure. Okay. I mean, if they picked up Cam, it means that they were hurting for him. Or
I think a multitude. He's available, and he got a nice contract. So I think too, Cam might have had received other offers, but he wasn't going to come play for the minimum. Why should he? Right? I mean, I think he knows his value, and Panthers were willing to pay for it.
Sam Darnold was put on IR.
Oh, is he really? Is he eligible for return this year?
That's what I want to know.
Well,
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyways, I think you're okay. You look at it this way: if you're winning with him, you stick with the hot hand always, right?
Yep.
Regardless of Sam Darnold's.
But after the season, Cam could get them in the playoffs, and they might be like, yeah, we're going to go younger.
If Cam takes them to the playoffs, you got to stick with him, right?
I think so. I think that's what they do. But
they got to make the playoffs.
Some of these teams got my head scratching.
Well, it's the NFL, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's week to week. So, but I don't know. That's a cool story. So, yeah. But Washington, that's 2 wins in a row. They beat the Bucs last week. Panthers now. So, and they're in the hunt as well. So it'd be interesting.
Then our next game, we've got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, Colts 41, Bills 15. Jonathan Taylor,
Wisconsin
smoked them. 32 attempts, 185 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And I think he had a receiving touchdown too.
Yeah, he is so good. 5 total touchdowns on Sunday. I think he's quickly becoming the best back in the league.
So there's what's that show called that they do? With the training camps, they pick an NFL team.
Oh, Hard Knocks?
Yeah, so
the middle
there's a Hard Knocks
mid-season?
Yeah.
And it's not as I tried watching. It's not as exciting.
I think it was the offensive coordinator, the running back coach, was saying like Jonathan Taylor, like he's got it.
That's right. Yeah,
and he's like when you see it in his eyes every time he touches the ball, he's like I've coached Hall of Fame running backs, and he's like I've never seen one as good as Jonathan Taylor.
Yep. Now he is coaching him though too, so I think you're kind of you
gotta
say he's the best.
You want to talk him up because
of course.
Adrian Peterson is probably one of the best.
The cameras there, right? Little. But anyways, he's phenomenal, and when he's playing really well, he makes Carson Wentz look really good.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying
that
the
Jonathan
Wentz
Taylor
isn't
show,
really good,
but I like Wentz. I think he's in the perfect offense where he's protected. He's got some good receivers there to help him out. They still don't really have like a true stud receiver. Michael Pittman Jr. is kind of like fitting that role.
He's solid, but they don't. Yeah, and T.Y. Hilton, he's past his prime. But hey,
Josh Allen, only 200 yards passing.
Yeah, boy, he looked rattled.
He was forcing the ball too many times.
Well, he had to, right? I mean, and that's the thing too. When you have a great run game and a great back like Jonathan Taylor, that allows you to score and also keep the ball. So
there was a play where he had his wide receiver almost wide open in the corner of the
Josh Allen.
Yeah, of the end zone, and he threw it at the goal line. It was weird. It was a deep ball, but he threw it at the goal. It's not like Josh Allen to take off any.
But I think here's the thing that's going through your mind, especially when you get down that much, you got to make a play and you're panicking, right? It's like your adrenaline's going and you're freaking out, and you're bound to make some mistakes like that. So, but yeah, I mean Carson Wentz only 11 of 20, 106 yards, 1 touchdown.
Are the Bills getting exposed? I mean that's.
Here's what. Look at Week 1, Saints and Packers, right? Everybody was ready to write off the Packers, Aaron Rodgers, blah blah blah, all those storylines. It's a week-to-week league. I'm not going to ride home on any narrative until
still got 7 weeks left.
You got to see a bigger sample. I still think the Bills are a tough team. I think a lot of times like this. I mean, when you have a running back you can't stop, right?
It's hard.
Yeah, and you're not going to see a Jonathan Taylor every week.
No.
So in this situation, you have a dominant back like that. It's going to be hard to beat that team. So we'll see. I think the Bills are still a very quality team. But yeah, now they're a half game behind the Patriots for the AFC East. Title, and I will say I think a lot of people assume the Bills will run away with that division. So,
yeah, I was one of those people that assumed that. They look good.
Count Bill out, man.
Yeah. Now you've got the next game we've got is New Orleans Saints against the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles came away with the win, 40-29.
They look good.
Jalen Hurts was your next level player of the week.
Yeah. Now I will say I saw the score and watched the game, and what I saw of Hurts, it looked really good. His numbers maybe weren't as good as I thought. He was 13 to 24.
They got a three-headed beast though at running back.
So he was. Look at this. So he's 13 to 24, 147 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, but 18 carries, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on Sunday.
And they got Scott, they got Sanders.
Yeah.
They got Howard.
Yeah, Miles Sanders 16 for 94 yards. As a team, they 50 carries for 240 yards.
That's insane.
And the Saints, I think, going into that game, were the top-ranked rushing defense.
Man, they went after their strong.
They did it. Now, I will say, first couple weeks with Trevor Siemian, I was like, okay, maybe he can carry it this week.
No,
man, you got to go with Taysom Hill, right? Is he healthy?
So Taysom Hill just restructured.
I know.
Contract.
I saw that.
So I don't know, because if he becomes the starting quarterback for the next 4 years, he gets like $90 million or something.
Yeah, but you're at 5-5, you have a chance to make the playoffs. this Simeon's not going to do it for you.
Yep.
You got to do something different. And I don't think you can if you let a contract structure change the way that you play a player, then are you playing to win then?
Yeah.
Right? You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you agreed to that deal and he does become your starter.
It's just weird to me because I think they're still going to put their money on Winston next year. Also, I heard
that's a big injury to come back from.
I heard they were trying to talk to Teddy Bridgewater, to coming back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was on the roster.
So,
well, it'll remain to be seen. But I think, Trevor Siemian did not look good. So yeah, Eagles came away with a big win, and they're 5-6, right in the hunt. There's a lot of teams in the NFC.
And that was one of the ones
right
that I picked. Yep.
Yep.
So I think those were the games that got me though. Was the first two that we covered. Washington won, and then Indianapolis Colts won. And
I think the Indianapolis Colts that shocked everybody.
Well, and then this one, the one that shocked everybody. How about the Houston Texans versus the Tennessee Titans,
right.
22-13? So far, those are 3 games that I got wrong this week.
Right.
And they're already in the first half of what we've been covering. So
yeah,
Tannehill 323 yards.
I mean, I think. I don't know. I would say the Bills-Colts, because the Colts are still a quality team, right? So you could kind of understand that more. But the Texans have been nowhere. But, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, so was Taylor back? I think he was because...
Yep. Yeah, he was back.
Didn't they win... They won their first 2 games, I think, with Taylor. I could be wrong.
They won their first one.
Was it the first game, and then that's when he got hurt?
Yep, he got hurt.
Yep.
But he was back and led him to a pretty convincing victory.
Against a good team.
His numbers weren't great, but Tyrod Taylor, I think, might be one of the most underrated quarterbacks.
Does it show what his numbers were?
He was 14-24, 107 yards. So
yeah,
but
if he knows how to manage the ball,
they were winning that game 19-0 for most of the game.
Yep.
Titans scored, I think, a couple late scores, but they were in control the whole time.
The thing is, that Texans team rallies around him.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's interesting. Tyrod Taylor has never really, in my opinion, gotten a true shot. I think he was in Buffalo, right? And then
before this season, he even said that.
That's right. And then he was in, I think the Chargers' first year in LA last year when he got the remember the pain injection for his ribs, and the doctor went too deep, and that's all of a sudden we got Justin Herbert. Could you imagine? Oh man, I'm sorry.
I didn't mean for Justin Herbert to take the field. Oh yeah, we didn't want that.
I don't know. I'm any sharp object going into the rib cage, right? You're gonna have that risk.
Yeah.
But and Justin Herbert's been phenomenal. But yeah, Tyrod Taylor stepped up. They won the game, and you can see how well a team can play when they have someone they can rally around like that. So who knows? But again, the Titans are 8-3. I'm not going to sit here and say that my mind has changed on that team. I still think they're arguably the top team in the AFC. That dominant win over the Rams really cemented them for me. I think they're a Super Bowl contender, but who knows? We'll see what next week has in stock for them.
Yep. Yeah.
What do we got next?
We've got the Miami Dolphins, who pulled the win off 24-17 against a Jets team with Joe Flacco leading the helm.
See,
Joe Flacco. I was looking at it, man. He didn't look terrible.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. So the Jets. Now I will say, in our I was at the bottom of the leaderboard for our pick and pool. That was one of those where I was the only one to take the Jets.
Swing, you never know.
But at the same time, the Jet, it was I think 14-14 going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Joe Flacco, 24-39, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions.
Elijah Moore went off, 8 receptions, 141 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's second in receiving this week, next to my boy, Justin Jefferson.
Oh, we'll cover that. We'll get into him.
That's next. Sheesh. Yeah. It was a good game. Tua not too bad.
Yeah, Tua had some good numbers. Tua 27-33, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
Yeah.
And he looked good? No, that's right. He wasn't your player to watch. It was Fields.
No, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks. You just talked about it.
Yeah. So, I think he proved last week, that's the first time this year anyways, that I think he's put up really good numbers and really led him to victory. And he certainly did that. I think it was the last touchdown to Gesicki. Is that their tight end?
Gesicki.
Yeah, where he kind of ran up the edge of the sideline there and made a nice touchdown to win the game. So, yeah, good win for them.
They're finally getting weapons. They were getting Waddle the ball.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really good plays in there. But Gaskin had a nice reception touchdown. Yep. So, it was a good game.
And that's 2 in a row for them, right?
Continue to watch, the Dolphins, man.
Over the Ravens, they beat them last week.
On to the next game, NFC North Showdown. Your Green Bay Packers, led by that old man, Aaron Rodgers, followed by my Minnesota Vikings, led by Kirk Cousins, or should I say Justin Jefferson.
I think they're more led by Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I'm dude. Like, all right. So Kirk Cousins hasn't won many primetime games. That's my biggest thing about him. We pay him all this money, and he hasn't won a primetime game.
And he had 2 interceptions thrown to Savage. That one was called back because of roughing the passer, which I'm not gonna. That was the right call. That was totally unnecessary. Then the interception they reviewed towards the end of the game that would have probably sealed it for the Packers.
That he dropped.
Well,
he didn't have control. He made the football.
Move. Again. So here's somebody. A friend of mine said, if that was a wide receiver, would they have called that a catch? And I thought that was I thought that was a good point. And remember, they called it an interception on the field. Yep. So to me, the way I can see what you're saying by the ball moved at the end. However, it's not like it bounced off the ground, right?
Yep.
And I think we always get into this weird thing of like, how do you clearly define a catch and all that? So the way I look at something like that, if you call it on the field a certain way, there has to be overwhelming evidence to overturn it, right? And to me, that was one you could go either way. You could make an argument for the interception and then for the ball hitting the ground and being a drop. But it didn't bounce. I think it's close. At the same time,
that's the first time I've seen an interception really reviewed like that.
Well, that was a close one though. A lot of times you see interceptions.
It's clear as day. Yeah, it's done.
Yep.
But I mean, it was a QB showdown. Rodgers 23 for 33 with 385 yards and 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins 24 for 35, 341 yards and 3 touchdowns.
See, I want to stop you right there. So last week we talked. I think we briefly mentioned Kirk Cousins. You're a longtime Vikings fan. You know Kirk Cousins better than anybody. Before this week, I was like, hey, no, Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback. But it's interesting. When you watch him, you see, first of all, Justin Jefferson. I think he's quickly becoming one of the best receivers in the league.
Yep.
Adam Thielen, I think, is already there. But Cousins sort of just has to not screw up because those guys get open. They make tough catches all the time. Dalvin Cook is a stud.
Yeah. But he only had how many rushing yards? 86.
He was 86, 22 carries. But that run that sealed it. I mean, so smart too to get down to make sure Rodgers doesn't.
Yeah, he could have had a touchdown.
He could have easily had a touchdown. He knows. That's what I mean. Imagine. It was obviously being a Packers fan. It was a tough loss. But I thought, man, whenever they go to Minnesota, it's always a toss up, right?
Well, and let's be honest though. Like, we got Mike Zimmer there, who's a defensive-minded head coach, and our defense looks bad. We should not have all these high-scoring games against us.
Yeah.
This whole year, everything's been. I think it was. We have 5 or 6 losses, and all of them were pretty much by 3 points.
Right. Well, but here you pull out a win. That's so you live and die by the sword, I suppose. But
I think
Zimmer, big takeaways there was Justin Jefferson. Man, I've obviously paid attention to him. I think my biggest frustration regarding him was the fact that when the Packers traded up in the draft, they got Jordan Love. When
Justin Jefferson,
or 4 picks prior. I understand maybe it's not as easy as it sounds, but he's so good. Some of his, I went back and watched some of the highlights again after watching the game live on Sunday, and man, just the way he runs his routes. He had a little where I can't remember which touchdown it was, but he lined up in the backfield and he had a little wheel route. And it was an option where he could go inside or outside, and he did this little stutter step to the Packers defender.
Yeah.
And he just read it perfectly, came inside, caught a nice slant touchdown. The guy just gets open.
A lot of these teams now, the new thing is get your wide receiver the ball behind the line.
Yeah, well, it's...
to let them do their work and let them make the moves.
Well, and two, I think it's becoming more and more difficult to just run the ball traditionally, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's become a passing league. But now that I think defenses are sort of catching up to a really, really pass-heavy offenses, right? So they're figuring out new creative ways to stop them, new coverages that are throwing quarterbacks off. We saw what the 49ers did with Stafford, right?
Yeah.
Completely shut him down. So you got to adapt, right? And if you can't always run the ball traditionally, you got to use screens as sort of a substitute for screens.
If they're in your face all the time, do some screens, get rid of the ball, and do some motions.
Man, I don't know.
Throw them off.
Maybe it's recency bias, but you got Justin Jefferson, you got Jamar Chase. Some of these young guys are so good.
Yeah.
Right? They're so athletic. They're so good. Devonta Smith.
Waddle. I mean,
Waddle,
they all look good.
Yeah, man. So good.
It's hard to really knock it at all.
Yeah.
But even though the Ravens, I mean, they got Duvernay over there, and then Bateman finally.
Yeah, well,
back.
but those guys, I don't know. But to me, you look at guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those guys they're becoming elite.
Yeah, they're playmakers. Like those guys out there on the field, nobody around them. They make the plays.
Yeah, they're always open. That's the thing with Cousins. I saw. I think he's a solid quarterback.
Adam Thielen's his blanket.
Well, Adam Thielen's always open. Justin Jefferson's always open. Right.
And honestly, if you
imagine if Aaron Rodgers had those two guys.
If you look
Tay's great, but man,
if you look at Thielen's stats, any of the games that like Justin Jefferson's out or that Diggs was out, Thielen's not present. But either of those two players, they made games happen by themselves. Well, and that's what frustrated me so much when we got rid of Diggs, but we wouldn't have Jefferson now if we did. Right. So.
Yeah, and what I saw Sunday, I was like, wow. I saw what you were saying, right? Because, too, and I'm used to looking at not always watching Vikings games like you do. You see the stats, and they look pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. But you watch the game, and you see certain plays, and you see even the accuracy isn't always there. He gets it to them late sometimes, but they're open, and they just make great plays. Those three, Cook, Thielen, and Jefferson, that might be the best two-receiver, one running back combo in the league. So, yeah. We'll see what happens when Vikings go to Green Bay later in the season.
Well, not only that, Minnesota also has Madison that backs up Cook, which looks good. Also, Dillon looked good.
Yeah.
Dillon looked really good for the Packers.
Well, I think it was against the Titans that he had last year. I want to say
he sealed off a nice block.
Yeah, he's got better pass protection
when he blitzed, and Rodgers completed a touchdown on that play. But all right, so on to our next game, guys. We've got the San Francisco 49ers, who blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars 30-10.
No surprise there for me.
Jimmy G still doesn't have that great of stats, though.
Yeah, but he got done. 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
I don't need to be flashy.
It's Jacksonville. They've been bad all year.
Yep.
ETN was going to be a staple of their offense. He's hurt. And then Chark, I think is, right? Is Chark out for the season, too? Those two guys.
You got Urban Meyer, staying out too late.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's really not too much to cover on the 49ers, except for, I mean, they did their thing. Came in, got their second win.
Yep, and they've ripped off 2 in a row.
Yep.
Obviously, Rams a very good team. Jacksonville not very good, but they blew out a not great team like you're supposed to. They're 5-5, and they're right in the hunt.
You know, Kyle Shanahan really wants Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. He's come out and said it. Ever since he coached them.
Hey, man, I would make well, if you could give me, I would give Kirk Cousins for Trey Lance. I don't know if I would do. Would you do? That's a good. Would you do Kirk Cousins for Garoppolo? Heads up.
No, what I would do is Kirk Cousins for some picks, possibly, if they wanted to, or just eat his salary that he's taken so much out of, and let's start.
So
we got Kellen Mond. In the back.
Well, but he hasn't. I mean, he
hasn't started an NFL game yet.
He hasn't started an NFL game. And what round pick was he?
He was third.
Okay.
Which is still decent.
It's decent.
I think he needs to be developed. That's my thing. He won 4 bowl games.
Yeah, but so that's the thing. So would you be, if you're going to trade Kirk Cousins today, would you trade him heads up for Garoppolo? Yes or no? No. So you take Cousins over Garoppolo?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would, and I don't like either. That's
what I mean. So which one?
I don't like either. I'd rather pick up like a Kittle or someone.
No, you can't. You got to pick those two.
No, I don't want them. Either.
Well, you're a Vikings fan. That's what you guys are gonna have to deal with.
I don't even want Cousins. So it's like I'm stuck with garbage either way. I don't know. All right, so on to the Detroit Lions, who almost came away with their first win against the Cleveland Browns, 10-13. Now, this is the second. Last week the Browns lost, right?
Yeah, they got drummed against the Patriots? Let's look.
I gotta look, yeah, because that's what I mean. Beckham's gone now, so teams only need a game plan for a running back.
Well, even when he was there, Baker didn't throw him the ball ever. So.
And Odell, yeah, but teams still had a game plan.
Yeah, they got drummed by the Patriots 45-7.
Yeah, the team still got the game plan for Odell Beckham, so him being gone as a playmaker. That's going to hurt. I don't think we're going to really see him that much in this Rams offense this year, though.
Really?
Because
I think.
Probably in 2 weeks he might actually start showing up.
To me, I mean, the Rams,
they need him.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're picking him up, especially with Robert Woods being out for the season, you got to figure out a way to get him involved.
Yep.
Now, it will be interesting, though, because I think everybody, me included, I say, okay, Matt Stafford, I think people will say a lot of things about him, but I think he's been a top 5 quarterback for pretty much his whole career. I think he's been on a bad team that hasn't really shown it. But outside of last week, you could make an argument he's an MVP candidate, right?
Well, DeAndre Swift literally put the Detroit Lions on his back.
Yeah.
14 attempts, 136 yards, and 1 touchdown. That's wild. So, I mean, the
Another
Lions,
tough loss for the Lions.
Who do the Lions have next week? They
got the Bears on Thursday night.
They might get their first win.
I'm sorry, for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
First game.
Thursday,
Yep.
So, they might get their first win against the Bears, man. Because I
think
don't
so.
like...
Well, okay, so
now with all this coaching situation going on.
I was going to say, here's the thing. If
Nagy might throw it?
No, not that Nagy would throw, but if you're the players and you're getting ready for this game and you're hearing, especially if it's true.
That your coach is already going to go on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen to your coach?
Who knows? Obviously, we're speculating at this point, but that's what we're here to do. What's that locker room like? I get this, in my opinion, I get the sense that they don't believe in Nagy anymore because
it came out after even Sunday's game before this news came out today that he lost half the locker room.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have all these rumors swirling.
Yep.
In my opinion, we'll see what happens by the end of the day.
With the Bears.
I think they're going to fire Nagy today. I think that comes out.
They have to now.
That's
at
my
this
prediction.
Point, why even let him coach?
Exactly. But if you let him coach, right,
then you got to keep him.
Well, hold on. If you let him coach, how do the players come out on Thursday? Because now that this news is out, there's probably, I don't want to say that you never cheer on a coach getting fired, but I remember when the Packers fired McCarthy, that was in the middle of the season. I wouldn't say I was celebrating, but I was pretty happy because when you have a coach, and it's not even an admonishment. I think Nagy, he's proved himself as a good coordinator. I think he can go off and do it again.
You know what stinks?
What?
The Bears are now in a very bad situation. They don't have a first this year or next year.
Yep.
Because so any new coach, you're walking into a crapshoot right now. That sucks.
Well, but you do have Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, no, not that there's not talent on the roster, but what do you do? Do you deal Mac and try to?
No, because when you
you got to kind of ride him out.
No, well, when you have Mac on the field, you saw if Mac is on the field on that last drive, there's no way the Ravens have enough time to get right because he's just peeling back and going. Yeah, to me, no, Mac is one of those game-changing players. So it was a lot to give up, but
the Bears pretty much got to go aggressively in free agency this year. I mean, that's
but I think think about this though. Fields is a rookie, so you have him under contract for at least 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know how
5 if you want.
I love Fields, and he was my next level player of the week, guys, and he got hurt, so can't really.
That's your excuse.
That.
He didn't look that good even before.
Really good before he.
They didn't even score a touchdown with him on the field.
Fields was moving the ball.
They didn't even score a touchdown.
Fields was
with
moving
him.
the ball.
You're just trying.
Crazy.
You're using that as
a
scapegoat.
Hurt, man.
No, You know what? Let's look
it up. Let's see what he did before he got hurt. Andy Dalton had.
Well, let's go into that game because
so that is the next game already. Yeah, so you got the Baltimore Ravens against Chicago Bears. Baltimore pulled it out 16-13, which I picked Baltimore to win before I found out about Lamar Jackson with the was it COVID or no, a sickness, right? But not COVID.
I think it was an illness. But I think at this point, if anybody's sick, you're always assuming it's COVID.
They jumped to COVID right away. I don't know, man.
But I picked the Bears to win. And up until about 10 seconds left to go in the game, they had the lead.
Yep.
They go for the long throw on, was it 4th and 1? Gamble like that. Dalton pulls it out. In the end, they find a way to lose.
Came back.
I think that does speak to the coach, right?
Yep.
To me, the responsibility is on Nagy because Nagy was very excited. I think he got caught up. To me, it's the responsibility is on you to make sure. If I understand that maybe you're not calling the defensive plays, but that you're locked in and you're in control of that game. So I put that loss on Nagy 100%.
Yeah,
right?
I mean you're the head coach. You got the overall control of the team.
And the defense hadn't given up. I think that was defense hadn't given up a touchdown all game.
So and then Huntley pulls out the win for them, and then the Ravens trade McSorley. Or no, McSorley gets picked up, their third string quarterback, by the Cardinals. So
interesting.
Is that saying, is Kyler Murray's injury worse than we think it is? Because Kyler just missed his second week.
I don't know.
But we're gonna cover that game anyway.
Yeah.
So next game
Getting ahead of
is
ourselves.
you've got your Bengals against the Raiders. 32 Cincinnati, 13 Raiders.
No surprise for me.
Yeah, I figured
that Raiders team is in shambles.
I figured the Bengals were gonna do it. I mean, you fire their head coach.
Yeah.
What do you expect? A lot of them.
No, I think he resigned, didn't he?
Yeah. Sorry, he
But
resigned.
now he's suing.
Forced to. Yeah, now he's suing the NFL. But like that, I mean, you kill the chemistry. I think when you do, especially a good coach while you're winning.
Right.
And his emails were the only ones leaked out of 650,000 of them.
Yeah.
Like, all right, come on, man. How do you? And he didn't like Goodell, so how do you not
We'll
say
see.
that?
Let's
see how this plays out. I think he's gonna win his lawsuit, but.
I'm sure you'll get a settlement. If I'm the NFL, I'd rather settle with the guy than have all the emails come out. Now, that said, though, I'm Jon Gruden. You know, and I think even resigning, I think who knows what his contract clauses are, but he got paid a lot of money as an ESPN analyst.
I think he
got
was
paid a lot of money.
$100 million, but like, if you resign,
$30 million. So he's still, let's say, I don't know what his net worth is, but he's probably, he's well into the billionaire status.
Well,
right?
and they just. Pretty much with those emails, like he was a really good announcer and stuff, and then now you just analyst. Now you just fired him from that too, technically, because no one's gonna pick him up because of that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I think it'll be interesting to see how this lawsuit pans out, because either way, if the NFL settles, then that's admitting sort of, hey, you know,
that they're wrong.
Because to me, the NFL does not want the whole slew of emails coming out. You don't want a WikiLeaks type thing where literally. Because, you know, there's things that they don't want you to see.
Yeah.
Obviously. That's why they only... And
10-year-old emails.
Well, not only that, I don't even think that those emails released to the public. I think a few snippets got released to the New York Times, was it? So a very a very targeted
to
hit
the
piece
news sources.
by certain individuals. But anyways, they'll figure that out. But I will say this. If I'm Jon Gruden, I'm not... You're going to settle... First of all, you're going to have to settle at least what I was going to get paid for being the head coach of the Raiders.
Yep.
And then some on top of that. But also, too, I don't have that kind of money. But if I did, I think I'd rather want to win on the principle. I want, right? Let's take it all the way to court. I want those emails to come out. You know.
I think he's going to fight it too.
I hope so, right? I think, too, I don't think it's about the money.
He's now got to clear his name.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't. His name's already.
Yeah, I was gonna say
what about how many other coaches
fair,
and
though,
GMs are out there?
Here's where I'm at with the Jon Gruden thing. I didn't read the emails, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the only thing I have is articles saying some snippets of what he said. Certainly, what he said wasn't good. At the same time, I'd like to see the context of it.
The whole thing.
Yeah, I'd like to reserve my judgment until I have all the facts. So be interesting.
So that Bengals Raiders game, Mixon had 123 rushing yards, and then you've got Waller with 116 receiving yards. So, and
Joe
Carr
Burrow looking solid as ever.
Yeah, Waller's good. Then next, without our quarterback, you know, the Arizona Cardinals pull off the win, 23-13 against Seattle.
After getting drummed by the Panthers.
Yep, McCoy came out and 328 yards.
McCoy.
That's
35-44, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
After last week.
And he's not a good quarterback.
Well,
he played good.
Yeah.
But that just showed, though, that the Cardinals have a good coaching system, I think.
I know, but it's just, man, the NFL just baffles me sometimes. Because I thought last week, after getting drummed by the Panthers, Colt McCoy's not going to do it.
Yep.
Cardinals are in big trouble. Then this game, it's like, oh, I guess not. I guess they got Zach Ertz, 2 touchdowns, 8 receptions, 88 yards. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, I want to know that, severity of Murray's injury and see what it looks like. Because, I mean, McSorley, the one that they just picked up from the Ravens, he's a similar style to Murray. So I'm interested to see.
I thought they were saying Murray's going to try to come back this week, right?
Yeah, if Murray comes back, I think you're good.
Cardinals going to bye, expecting QB Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins to come back.
Okay, perfect.
I will say, though, to your point, Murray's been kind of week to week for since that Packers game.
So they need a good – you get this kid in to start learning the system now in case anything happens to Murray.
It's a good point.
Because, I mean, he's a playmaker, Murray. You need him. I mean, they don't need him. They just showed that.
Well, okay. My point exactly, right? Last week, they looked like a shell of themselves without him. This week, they look like didn't skip a beat with Colt McCoy, who's all of a sudden putting up, insane numbers.
Good preparation, yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
That's what I. And then, all right, so here's a game that I got wrong on our next game. You got the Dallas Cowboys losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, 9-19.
You can't ever bet on the Cowboys. You can't trust them, man.
So,
come on, man.
He had no receivers. Dak had no
now,
receivers.
You're making excuses for him
already? He had
Seriously?
no wide receivers.
You got Zeke Elliott.
Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's back. Yeah, but you have Zeke. But Lamb got hurt. Lamb got hurt.
Okay.
Zeke is good. I'm just saying, like,
well, you're
what
a great
else
quarterback.
do you have?
Aaron Rodgers only has Devontae Adams, and he beat the Cardinals without him. He beat the Cardinals with Alan Lazard, a 40-year-old Randall Cobb.
Aaron Rodgers is used to having nobody.
Oh, okay. See, so you're going to make excuses for this guy, but in certain situations it's different.
That's Aaron Rodgers, dude. That's Aaron Rodgers. I think the Cowboys bounce back from this one, though. They definitely will. The Chiefs, the Chiefs came in to make a statement. It's their second win in a row.
Now, yeah, but I don't think that's making a statement, right? Because
blowing them out would be, but 9-19 is a close game still.
It's a close game. Pat Mahomes, 23 of 37, 260 yards, 1 interception, no touchdowns. That's a bad game.
Yeah.
Again.
If Mahomes doesn't show up.
Yeah. So I can't say. To me, last week was you could maybe call it a statement game, but again, we talked about the Raiders' struggles.
So let's say it was Kansas City's defense making a statement.
Yeah. Well, and it looks like they're going to need them, right? Because that
defense hasn't been there all year. Now they are. They stopped one of the top passing offenses.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah, Dak Prescott, 28 of 43, 216 yards, 2 picks.
Yeah, and they were leading.
But I will say this: it's not that I have anything against the Cowboys. I think Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. I think Zeke Elliott's great. CeeDee Lamb's great.
Well, we've seen what the Cowboys look like without Dak.
Yeah, I think Mike McCarthy is not a good coach. I know that firsthand. I think they're wasting their time with that guy.
So you cut Garrett and you sign McCarthy.
Why?
Yeah, you might as well go for one of these newer high school coaches
so
out
here's
there.
my analysis on that. So they brought in Mike McCarthy, right? Jerry Jones, come on in, Mike. You
That's
can
it.
coach this team.
You're my boy.
But,
Jerry Jones calling plays. No, just
no. Well, okay, actually. Well, hey, look, but I know you're an offensive guy, but Kellen Moore's gonna stay here. We're gonna run his offense.
Yeah, that's what
they're doing.
I heard that's what was happening.
And that's what they did with Jason Garrett with Bill Parcells.
Yep,
that was their guy. That's what Jerry Jones does. So, and of course,
Mike's just the face, you know.
Yeah, to me,
he wasn't a good Packers coach.
No,
though, really.
Look, you had Aaron Rodgers in the prime of his career for 10 years, and you have one Super Bowl. One Super Bowl. That's it. A waste.
Is it the GM or is it Mike?
Well, no. I do think I will say this. It is partly the GM's fault because. First of all, they let Mike McCarthy be the coach for so long when they were declining year in and year out. And I can't really say that they didn't have pieces around Aaron because they had Jordy Nelson. They've had Randall Cobb, right? And then the GM did bring in Devontae Adams, right?
Yep.
So I don't necessarily think – well, no, I'm sorry. I guess that would have been the previous GM that brought in Devontae. But this current GM brought in Matt LaFleur, right? So –
and LaFleur's looked great. I didn't think he was going to be.
Yeah,
so.
And if you look at the Packers now, would you say on offense, do they have more talent now than they did during Mike McCarthy's year?
I think less.
Probably.
Maybe not, though, because you got Aaron Jones.
You got Aaron Jones. Yeah, but
Devontae
Mike McCarthy
Adams.
didn't matter even if you had a great back there. He didn't have any offensive schemes
What's up
to run
with
the ball.
Packers never having a good tight end?
We had Jared. Well, okay, we have good tight ends. Jared
Sharp
Cook
was the last one.
Who?
Sharp.
Oh, he's a receiver. You're thinking of his brother.
Oh, his brother.
Yeah, Sterling Sharp was the receiver. We had, you go back to Mark Chmura back in the 90s. He was a solid tight end.
But that's what I mean. It's been a while.
Jermichael Finley.
Fit until he got hurt, yeah.
Yeah.
It's never really been like, hey, that guy's a stud.
Yeah, true. But Tunyon, right, until he got hurt. What's his name? Agura, however you say his.
Yeah.
Agura, he caught that incredible
I guess
throw.
we'll see what happens in the future if they ever get one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still bitter they got rid of Cook because Cook was the one. Remember that sideline catch against the Cowboys in the playoffs?
Cook is still doing good.
I know. Why would you get rid of – I was the GM, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah.
How do you get rid of a productive guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the Packers always like that. They always – I think there is an arrogance in the front office where they think they're always 2 steps ahead.
Yep.
You know, they think – we'll draft Jordan Love. We'll just do what we did with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers again, because it's that easy. But
so how about we go to the Sunday night shootout between the Pittsburgh Steelers losing 37-41 against the Los Angeles Chargers, where Herbert led in passing and rushing.
Yeah, 9 carries, 90 yards, 30 of 41, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns. That Mike Williams game-winning touchdown, that was awesome. That was pretty
Herbert,
cool.
man.
Yeah, but the Steelers, too. They put up 27 points in the fourth quarter.
I know.
So the Steelers, here's what they are. The Steelers and Big Ben, terrible.
Man.
First quarter, second quarter, third quarter team, and the fourth quarter.
And then he's like,
always in it.
All right, you know what, guys? I need to earn my paycheck here. Let's go out here, start slinging the rock.
I'll say Ben Roethlisberger, I think, will go down in history as the worst quarterback of all time.
He'll probably get in the Hall of Fame.
He probably will.
Yeah.
But you watch him, even in his heyday, you don't really necessarily see any great, like with
Clearly
Brady
the Steelers
and
see
Rodgers.
something in him, though, because why does
That's
he
what I
still
mean.
have a job? He tried retiring 3 years ago.
They put up 27 points in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
With Ben, he always seems to find a way. But at the same time, you watch him and you're not blown. Nothing's spectacular.
I don't think his heart's in it anymore.
Who knows? I'm always a little hesitant.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant always to look into stuff like that because you don't know a guy. I think everybody's different. You can't assume anything. You only know what they give in interviews and what they seem. You're not in the locker room. You don't know for sure. But he's
that's
older
the hard
too,
thing
though.
is we don't know what the players are.
Yeah, he's older and he's still playing. He seems like he wants to win still.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say though, he doesn't seem to.
I mean, he won them a Super Bowl when he was very young.
Hey, look, the Steelers are 5-4. They're in the hunt. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yep.
They still have a chance to win the division.
But either way, I mean, he's still not the Big Ben that he was. And obviously, you're not expecting that.
He's like Big Ben was Big Ben.
Yeah.
He was never going to lead the league in any passing stats.
No, but he'd run you over.
Yeah, but that's what. But again, we both kind of agree he's Hall of Fame quality, probably. Yeah. But he's never really been the top guy.
Yeah.
Right. Like they've always found a way to win. So yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting. It's one of those things you can never count the Steelers out. But Justin Herbert to me was really the story of that game. And we were talking, I think during the week. I don't know if it was on last show or just between text, but who Herbert reminds you of?
Oh yeah.
I think he reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. That's the only player that I've seen has that.
I mean, he's electrifying. He's fun to watch.
That arm. I mean, just it's so fun to watch. He's a great quarterback. He's so smart. Makes right decisions always.
One of the reporters asked him, do you work out?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yes.
Even the way he answered it.
Do I not look it?
Well, that's what I mean. He was clever. You know what I mean? Very cerebral, very quick-witted, able to answer that. He didn't get offended. He was just threw it right back on the reporter. That was awesome.
But yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a good quarterback. I mean, last year's quarterback man. Last year's quarterback draft class was good. This year's quarterback draft class, I think, is still out there, proving to be good. But this year's quarterbacks are on worse teams than last year's were.
Well, here's to me. I think you can't do a broad brush with anything, because Herbert, obviously, I think he's quickly become a top 10 quarterback.
But he had Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler. Yeah,
but I mean, you watch him on the field though. I mean, he makes all the right decisions.
Yeah, he does, but he also he's still young, so he still makes some weird mistakes, like forcing.
I didn't see any on Sunday night. I mean, he had a pick, but man, he was locked in, especially at the end there when it really got kind of hairy.
Then they drafted him a nice left tackle this year. That's what I mean though. And then you got Herbert has Jamar Chase. Even before that, he had AJ Green. Burrow. AJ Green, Jamar Chase, Boyd.
Jamar Chase is a rookie.
Mixon. No, but before that though, you still had AJ Green.
AJ Green's
Mixon.
a shell of himself.
AJ Green was hurt his rookie year. But I'm saying
here's what I'll say: Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, those guys are going to be 2 elite quarterbacks in the NFL within 5 years. To me, they're the next.
I think who had the worst
breed, if you will.
The worst guy from last year's.
Agreed.
Yeah, Tua. No, as in Tua didn't have anything. And
look
at what he's doing. Now they finally got Waddle.
You were talking about Waddle, right?
They got Gesicki.
But if we look at week to week, this was a great week for Tua, right?
I think Hurts is kind of in the a similar situation as them.
Yeah, but Hurts
now they got Smith.
Hurts is a 3rd-round quarterback, right?
Yep.
But Tua, he was the top number 1 pick. He should be the best one. He's not.
Yep.
You got to admit that.
I think he's gonna be.
You think he's gonna be better than Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow?
Tune in next week, guys, to find out why.
Get your wallet out. There's no way. Those two guys are. head and shoulders above him.
What I think is those 3 quarterbacks, even 4, let's count Hurts, like they all got it to be a franchise quarterback.
To me,
for the team.
give me Burrow, Herbert. I'm sold on. I like Hurts
I think to
too.
be franchise quarterbacks, dude.
We'll see.
People like rally around Tua. He's proved that he can win, but
it's still too early.
Back.
I'm telling you. All right.
If he stays healthy, that's to me. Tua's
but even look at
thing.
we're talking about Tua with I think 2 touchdowns, 260 yards, 1 interception as a great game for him, right?
Yeah.
If
and
Herbert
then look at Herbert. Herbert
games,
just all right.
That's an average game for those
saying.
guys, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
I'm not counting Tua out by any means. Even last week, all right, I'm a little bit more of a
look at Patrick Mahomes the first 2 years, 3 years, and then now look at him now.
Well, I would say maybe. Well, look at him now. This year he's regressed a little bit.
That's what I mean. So it's like these guys.
Well, but no, Mahomes came in right away. Because remember they traded Alex Smith in the offseason. Yep. He was there right away. But
well, the thing is too. Normally for rookie quarterbacks, the sophomore year is one of the hardest ones. But like Herbert's making it look easy. So and Burrow.
Yeah. Well, and I think to me, I do. So Burrow, Herbert, neck and neck. Herbert looks more impressive, right?
So I already put their stats next to each other.
What do they look like?
Herbert has
better.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Burrow coming back from that devastating knee injury and to
proves
play
a lot.
Yeah, I mean
and he's playing like it never happened.
Right, that's what I mean. I mean, I love both those guys.
But like what I'm trying to get at is, those two are elite. Tua has to prove himself.
Hey, 100% Tua has. I'll say this, Tua probably has the highest ceiling because he's more athletic than both those guys, and he's got, I'd say, the same arm talent. Now he's a lefty, and I think some people will say that can make offensive.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's harder for some receivers. To catch
they
the
say the ball spins the other way. That shouldn't matter though. You should be able to catch it both ways.
That's And then you've got I'm interested to see how these guys pan out the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Like next year, I think is going to be a big proving point because Dolphins will kind of choose.
And by year 3, that's when. So the end of year 3 with these rookie contracts,
they'll figure out with Hurts.
You have to
what they want. That's when you got to elect.
So this is how the rookie contracts are structured. Your 4-year deal, and the 5th year is a team option. So the team decides.
That's on first round picks, right?
What's that?
That's
for picks 1 through 7. Every rookie quarterback, I believe, gets or rookie player gets that. Now there's clauses they can get out of it, and the way the NFL contracts are not, none of them are really guaranteed.
Yep.
But with that 3rd year, between year 3 and year 4 in the offseason, that's when the team has to pick up that year 5 option. So it's not like you can go through year 4 and then decide. Right? You have next year is. Yeah. That's when
then you decide if that's your guy or not.
It's going to be it or not. I mean, look at Sam Darnold, right? The Jets had him, and we were kind of like waiting for it. Never happened.
The other thing is, I mean, this rookie draft class coming in is a mostly defensive rookie draft class coming in this year. So I'm interested to see how teams go after these quarterbacks.
Well, let's see. The Lions are going to get the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah, and they're probably going to go.
Who's the top quarterback?
Is it the North Carolina guy? Howell? Is it Howell? Is that his name? Or
let's look it up. Top NFL draft picks.
Or top,
prospects.
Yep. I think it's Howell. I could be wrong, but North Carolina.
But I mean, even Jalen Hurts, who looks pretty good. He's a
third round.
Yeah. Brady obviously 6th round. I don't think something like that can really happen. But I will say the Brady stories I think seem to be less and less for quarterback-like positions.
Yep.
Maybe for some of the other guys, but even too, I think scouting's gotten much more advanced with, what do you call it? I don't want to call it.
It seems like a lot of the quarterback picks, it's hard to miss anymore. Like any of these players, most of them.
Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh is what.
Okay. Pickett, and then who else? Who's the other quarterbacks?
Matt Corral, Ole Miss. That's who you were talking about.
Okay.
And I don't know too much about either of those guys.
I thought North Carolina
who knows?
had one. I could be.
But I don't think here's the thing though. I don't think anybody expected Justin Herbert to be the top quarterback out of that draft class. Yeah. Right?
No, I was collecting Joe Burrow cards, and then Herbert. I had Herbert, and I sold them for cheap. You got rid of them
too soon?
Yep, sold them for cheap.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm collecting Kellen Mond because obviously I'm a Viking fan.
I think you're a little biased there.
That's also part
or maybe
of it.
Just hopeful.
But also, yeah, I mean, if he does do well, you cash in on a huge collection. So, all right. So our last game to cover is going to be Monday nights. Last night, you got the New York Giants with Saquon Barkley back finally. losing 10-30 against your Tampa Bay.
I was going to say, unfortunately, it didn't help him much.
Yeah, I know. It's Barkley. Just they look like they did better with Booker when they threw him in over Barkley.
I don't know. I think Daniel Jones had 2 interceptions. They're playing from behind the whole game. I don't know, but to be fair though, I think it was a 1-possession game into halftime.
I lost my
10-17.
parlay on that one.
Got to be careful with those parlays.
No, man.
3 legs or less.
I thought it was good, man. I thought it was good.
Well, whenever do you notice when you got your DraftKings app out and say, "Wow, I can win that much money if this hits"? That seems too good to be true, right?
I know.
When you should have been like, maybe I should rethink this.
But you think Mike Evans getting a touchdown, which that did happen.
No, I think that did happen.
And then I had Saquon Barkley, who was
Mike Evans. So Mike Evans had a touchdown. Your Robert Gronkowski prediction didn't happen.
Because I thought Gronk being back, they're going to get him a red zone touchdown, and that didn't happen. And then I had Tom Brady passing over 250.
And I think he got that right.
307. And then I had a Bucs win.
So if you would have done, think about this, Mike Evans touchdown.
Why did I choose Godwin?
Mike Evans touchdown, Tom Brady touchdown, or over 300 yards, and then a Bucs win. That'd have been pretty solid. Now it wouldn't have been as lucrative, but it's more realistic, right?
I need to be more realistic when I do those kind of bets.
Yeah.
But...
Well, you know what? Maybe on another show I'll talk a little bit about how to avoid that. Because here's one thing maybe
we'll talk about that on the next one.
Yeah. But one thing I'll say, just as a fair warning to everybody as they're getting into betting, these apps, they make money from parlays like that. Really long odds, and they entice you to do it, right? So, So anyways.
But yeah, I mean, so that was a good game. I mean, the Bucs came out and did their thing.
The Giants were in it for a while. You can't throw 2 interceptions in.
Daniel Jones, I mean,
That's what I mean. I mean, if you take away those 2 interceptions,
pressure though. But that's where the screen should come in.
Right.
Figuring out how.
Yeah,
to
you
get
got
your
Saquon, right?
the
How many
ball.
catches does Saquon have?
I don't know.
6.
Kadarius Toney actually
6.
looked pretty good too last night. Their first round.
So yeah, I mean, he had 7 receptions, but only for 40 yards.
Saquon or Kadarius?
Kadarius.
Yeah.
Saquon 6 for 31.
So, I think something that the NFL should institute, or any pro league, any pro team, NBA, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you don't make it to the playoffs after X amount of years, you should have to sell your team. Look at it would, but then
but you can't force that. The league. Like the commissioner works for the owners, right?
Yep.
So the owners decide.
Yeah, I know, but they're not going to say that, But the Jets, people don't want to go there. The Browns forever.
My opinion is, I think all NFL teams should be publicly traded.
That'd be nice, so that there's no, because then it takes out the greed from the owners.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm biased in this because I'm a Packers fan, but we don't have an owner.
Yeah,
it's all owned by fans, and to me, if all the fans are the shareholders, they control the team.
On what you want,
right?
What you could get.
Why? Think about this. What's the reason that
actually the Packers just started selling shares again?
Yeah. Now,
I guess that hasn't happened since the 70s.
No, I think it happened more recent than that. But also too, though, your shares of the team. They're not gonna. Yeah, it's never gonna be.
It's more like, hey, look.
I don't. I don't know. I don't think you can sell them either. Like it's not like
it's a one-time.
It's not like the stock market. But wouldn't it be kind of interesting if
to start trading teams?
Yeah, like on a publicly
like how you do with
market.
Cards,
exactly.
you do it with the teams.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I saw something come up on my phone the other day, and it was you could invest in players, kind of like that, publicly trade them almost. But it was weird. I don't know how that really works, but it's like gambling because then you sell them off after big games.
Well, I'm sure based on how they. But I wonder how you.
But legally, you have to get the player I don't know.
I mean, all it would take in theory would be the player to create.
Agree to let you to use their name, right?
Whatever it would be, or whatever the 2-way agreement is.
Because I was looking into that.
You
and
should try to maybe for next
I'll
show.
look into
we'll talk,
it for the next show.
That'd be interesting. I'd be interested to know
see what that was exactly.
Yeah. Because you're right. I mean, with sports cards, it's there's a lot of speculation, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you buy low and sell high.
Yeah. It would go hand in hand, right?
That's why I'm chasing Kellen Mond. So a Kellen Mond card, I just bought the flawless one out of 10 for $82. It's an on-card auto RPA, but he's in his college uniform. But that's that product that was originally coming out at $6,000, but went down to $2,200 a box. So the most expensive one this year to be released, right? And I got his card for $82 when, say, I'd have to look up the sold listings.
Oh, just to find it on eBay?
Yeah, no, but the sold listings on eBay, the other bigger quarterbacks for that same card are probably over $1,000.
Really?
Like
Okay.
Mac Jones for sure.
Right. Well,
But that's why when you said like I'm collecting Kellen Mond, yeah, I am because it's my team, but betting that he gets to start.
So you really want Kirk Cousins to get traded?
I really do.
You have a vested interest, my friend.
But I wouldn't have invested in him though if I didn't think that it was possible that he'd become a starter.
Well, and I'll tell you, like I said, I think my mind has really changed. Before last week, besides a couple times, a few times over the years when they play, I never really noticed Kirk Cousins the way that I did this last week.
I told you.
Yeah, no, I know.
And I got a lot of Vikings fans hating on me because of it, because of my take on him. But, like, look up his primetime games. The only reason that we won that NFC playoff game was
Diggs
against the Saints was because of Stephon Diggs making the defender miss, and the defender also being lazy on tackling.
Here's the argument you could have made maybe was, hey, well, Stephon Diggs was so good because he had Cousins. He's how
doing
much better
good
is he
with
Allen?
Josh Allen.
Yeah. No, I like I said, I came away looking at say, wow, statistics can lie.
Honestly, think about how good Minnesota would have been if we got rid of Thielen and kept Diggs with Justin Jefferson.
I don't agree with you there.
Because electrifying playmakers.
I know, but if you look at it, you have two contrasting styles there, right? So you have...
They're similar, you mean?
No, they're different.
Adam
Thielen's
Thielen.
A possession receiver.
No, I'm saying Justin Jefferson and Diggs. They're
right?
Yep.
So you want to use them... To me, you want Thielen to sort of eat up coverage if you can. He's a possession receiver. He's big, right? He's Cousins' security blanket, right?
Yeah, Thielen's got hands like glue. I mean, if he
totally.
gets the ball, he's most likely not dropping it.
Totally.
But like, I just don't like I'm not a possession guy. Like I like the fast offenses.
Well,
Look
here's
at
the thing
Chiefs.
too. So the Vikings got a first-round pick from the Bills, which turned into Justin Jefferson. Interesting enough. So they got a first-round pick, and then I think a third, a fourth. Nobody would give that up for Thielen. Thielen, no doubt. Hey, good top receiver in the right, but he's no Stephon Diggs, and he's no Justin Jefferson. Yeah, very good, but he's not those guys.
I think we took like Garrett Bradbury with our first, and then you took Thielen with theirs.
Man,
so
I wish. Could you imagine?
Or not Thielen, Justin Jefferson. Yeah,
Packers had Justin Jefferson,
dude. And he was taken like fourth.
4 picks ahead. I looked it up. Yeah.
No, fourth out of all the receivers.
Yeah.
I know. That year.
That year, because I'm trying to think who else.
When he fell to us, I was so excited.
It might have been DK Metcalf that year too.
Yeah, DK is also really
That's
good.
what I mean. That year for receivers, there was a ton of them. And the Packers picked Jordan Love.
Yep. And then was it Ruggs too? Ruggs too was in it?
Yeah.
I want to say. It was Ruggs last year.
Yeah.
And then Rieger. That was awesome. The Eagles grabbed Jalen Rieger, as opposed to Justin Jefferson. And we came right after
Although
that.
Rieger looks pretty solid. But I still can't. I mean, if the Packers trade up, why get Justin Jefferson? Jordan Love, I mean, look at so far.
It kind of reminds me
How about this?
It kind of reminds me of, remember when the Giants traded up to get Daniel Jones? Or how about when the Bears traded up to get Trubisky over Watson and Mahomes?
Yeah.
When they did that, when the Bears did that, I was like...
I will say this. It's more of a Nagy thing than Trubisky. And you're seeing that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Trubisky was
doing
doing
much worse without Trubisky.
Trubisky looked good with the Bills, like the preseason.
I think you can't take anything from preseason. But my point is, the problem with that team was not Mitch Trubisky.
Well, so
it's Matt Nagy. It's been Matt Nagy the whole time.
The coach of the Bills came out and said that he thinks that Trubisky's going to be a starting quarterback next year in the league. Not for them,
it's a weird thing
but
to
for
say
a team.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why they got him to sign a one-year deal.
You always say that too. You hope maybe people trade for him. But how about this? I was thinking, obviously, we
stock
don't
up on your Mitch Trubisky cards now.
We don't make our decisions for our favorite teams, but Justin Jefferson, Jordan Love, heads up.
I'm taking Justin Jefferson.
You don't want Jordan Love?
No.
Oh, come on.
Heck no.
You guys could use him.
No, I'll take Justin Jefferson.
Just give us Justin Jefferson a call.
Give me Jefferson.
Maybe we'll throw in a pick or two there too.
No. Give me who
do you want?
Give me Love and Adams.
No, you ain't getting Adams. We'll give you Love and some cash.
Dude, look at Stephon Gilmore got traded away for a 6th round pick.
And
Von Miller.
Stephon Gilmore wanted to go to sign with the Packers.
Yep. That's what I mean. So a lot of these players, like, it's so weird. A lot of these players are getting traded away for dirt cheap, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
I think
But you do offload their contract. I'm sure that's a big thing.
Huh?
Yeah, and the Von Miller thing was weird because they're right in the thick of it.
Before Randy Moss had his like killer season with the Raiders, not the Raiders. He went to the Raiders to die almost, and then the Patriots saved him.
Oh, when he was with the Patriots.
Yeah. Then he went to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So I think we traded him away for like a 4th round pick, like something measly like that. And the dude had 22 touchdowns.
Yeah, but sometimes that too is like where
that was a conflict of the locker room.
Well, here's something you got to consider. When a guy, and you're seeing it with Deshaun Watson, when a guy has made it clear he doesn't want to be on your team, and I'm not saying that exactly with Randy Moss, but it was.
I think Randy Moss loves Minnesota, but
but there was tension there, right?
It was the locker room. They didn't like him.
Whatever it was, there's tension there. And when the front office has a player who publicly says they don't want to play for your team, other teams that you're looking as trade partners,
they want that.
They now see what position you're in. Hey, that guy doesn't even want to play for you.
Like,
he might not even suit up for you.
Yeah, like they sell the other team. So you want me to give
you what we would normally give you in a normal market? We're not gonna, because heck, you might just release him if you can't get somebody to trade with you, and then he'll probably want to sign with us anyways, right?
Yeah.
So
what do you think? So I think man, like, so Bears fire Nagy. And then
that's not.
Do you think Pace? No, I'm saying.
Let's look and see.
I'm saying like here's the best situation for the Bears. Get rid of Nagy. You need to get rid of Pace and work on an offensive line ASAP. I think that's what they need. They get this offensive line.
Until that little old lady sells that team.
McCaskies are terrible owners. They need to go.
Again, back to if every team was a publicly traded traded company, you would have a board of directors.
Then we'd be like, you're fired.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't have where, to me, and this has nothing. I'm not against
they're terrible owners. Their dad.
I'm against any owning an NFL team, a sports team. I just don't. It's to me. Here's also too why I feel this way. Look at the Cubs, right?
Yep.
The Cubs brought in Ricketts, who's, hey, I'm the biggest Cubs fan there is.
He's just trying to get money, man.
Exactly. Ultimately, it's a business for them, which is.
Now we're
I'm not going to blame you. I'm not going to blame owners for being selfish that way, right?
The Cubs got ripped off on that Chris
Bryant
trade.
It was
the Chris Bryant trade blew my mind.
About it. There shouldn't be individual owners for sports teams, and I'm not saying I'm not anti-capitalist by any means.
But it should be owned by the city, maybe even.
Not the city, but like because the cities will. There's look at cities
owned by the. I like actually owned by the fans, like you
owned
said.
by the fans.
I think
that's
smart.
what I mean. So you buy.
Then you
get
team, profits from the team buying in, just like a stock,
even. And that's the thing too. Like if I. And maybe there's some.
We're gonna get canceled right away talking about this.
I think it's an interesting subject. I do think maybe owning
the NFL,
like
NBA,
if you own a share of a team, maybe you do have to be like prove some sort of fanship. You know what I mean? So there's like a requirement maybe somehow there.
Dude, like I would buy into the Vikings ASAP.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And even the Packers, it was I think $300 a share.
And the Bulls, I definitely buy into the Bulls.
Yeah,
even I would have bought into them years ago when they were doing bad.
How many Cubs fans out there wouldn't buy into the Cubs?
Yeah, Blackhawks.
Because what do you want? You want to ensure that team is playing to win.
Yep.
Right. And when you have an owner, sure, I think.
Instead of just like the Yankees, man. The Yankees always using the luxury cap, and they're playing to win, right? But that's what I mean.
Yeah,
the Cubs should be doing that too.
The Cubs could, but they don't want to. Watch the TV
They'd rather
network.
Build the hotels around the
and that's what I mean too. Do I blame Ricketts? Yeah,
he owns
you know what?
all
Yes,
of
I do.
Wrigleyville.
I definitely blame Ricketts. I don't mean to go off on a tirade,
Doesn't he own all of Wrigleyville or close to
basically,
it? That's what I heard.
Because he bought out a bunch of the rooftops, right? Okay, you want the big screen is kind of nice, but that completely killed several rooftops. There was litigation over that. And then you see what's going on now. They launched the Marquee Network, and he said he just wanted.
It's his network, right?
He wanted, it's the Cubs network. He just wanted them to win. That's what he wanted.
Isn't Comcast the only one that has it too? I thought, or is it on DirecTV?
Well, it was originally it was WGN and Comcast had both the games. Traditionally, it was always WGN. I'm saying a lot of people were saying it was hard to get the Marquee. We'll have on the podcast
network.
at some point. Could talk a little bit more about this, but one of the big reasons a lot of people don't know
Ken's
this.
my father-in-law. For those of you that don't know,
the Cubs' wide fan base, owes a significant amount to WGN just being televised nationally. So you could watch Cubs games all over the country, right? And now you have just a local TV affiliate that does it. And those stands were empty at the end of the year. So, anyways, as we get closer to baseball season, I'm looking forward to talking more about that.
Yeah, we'll talk more about other sports, guys. Which just right now, football's the hot topic. Bulls are on fire, so we could always talk about that too. But next episode, we'll hopefully be talking about the next week's games coming up and give you guys our take on it. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Thank you, everyone that jumped in to listen to our Next Level podcast, episode 3.
Everybody have a great Thanksgiving, too.
Yeah,
Be
enjoy
safe.
your Thanksgiving with your friends and family. Definitely enjoy the holidays, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.